honestly. I think that'll be kind of
totally.
like very baller.
Right, Waiting for Frost, that sounds like a dystopian novel, right?
Right? Waiting for us.
Waiting for us. Actually, one time, Nick, Adam, and I waited about a half an hour for Faraz, and we had this great conversation, and we ended up putting it in at the end of the show because it was all fun and games. And he showed up. I'm gonna DM him real quick. We are live. Hello out there
Okay.
on the YouTube. So if you wanna,
Can I share
say hi
something
to
really
folks.
embarrassing on the internet?
Yes.
Yeah. So I like have my. It was not actually embarrassing. This is my attempt to like destigmatize it. So I did like microblading on my eyebrows. I just did my second coat, which like you need to wait like 6 weeks. But essentially like I have very little eyebrow hair, and I'm sick of it. So I'm just like tattooing them. That's basically the gist of it. And so like now I'm at the like patchy phase of my healing, and like so like my eyebrows look like somebody took a razor to it. So and they're a lot darker than they will be. Like this is like scabs that are making it darker. So good times, internet. You learned a little thing about microblading. So if I look weird, that's why. Yes.
I was just thinking about how nice your eyebrows look. So.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you. They'll look nicer in a few weeks. And then I won't have to worry about them for like a year and a half.
That, like go out an inch and a half or so if I'm not careful. So
Yeah.
different set of problem.
I have the kind of eyebrows that would be one eyebrow if I let it.
Oh, ditto.
I just don't let it
Mine are
happen.
like
So
light blonde and barely existing.
Yeah. I have your problem, Allie, but like at least I can see your eyebrows from here. Like mine, you'd have to like really be up close and personal.
Yeah, they're drawn on, but
Yeah.
and I get them dyed too.
Yeah.
So when you draw
yeah,
them on,
tinted.
how often do you have to draw them? Is it daily, or do they stay for a few days, or how does it work?
Yeah, every day.
Every
Just
day?
to fill them in. Yeah.
Oh.
There's layers of this, so you can do tinting,
Yeah.
which I think is like the saner way to go. If you're, I never drew my eyebrows regularly, but like, yeah, so you can like dye your eyebrows essentially, and that's one way to
Yeah.
like do it every once in a while. Or you can do what I'm doing, which is like it'll last a year and a half. You just have to put up with like a few weeks of embarrassing eyebrows, but it's worth the pain.
It's worth it. It's the long game.
Absolutely.
I saw somebody just
All right.
tattooed theirs. Well, it's just one and done. But you gotta be happy with it. You gotta be really happy.
Yeah. Anyways, I've stalled enough for Faraz, so
Yeah.
we
We
get
just
started.
can't wait around
I miss you,
forever.
Chris Hiller. Nice to see you.
Hi.
Hi. I haven't
Chris, by the way, had the
been on a
best
show with you in
resolution of all
forever.
time. So I'm excited to bring it back out because I had forgotten all about it. But Chris basically broke the show last time with his resolution. It was so good. I'm gonna put out a quick message to our channel, inviting folks.
I haven't seen Divya in forever. Hi, Divya.
It's been forever.
Can she
Hello.
hear me? Yeah. Hi.
Yeah.
Divya works at Fly.io now.
Oh yeah.
Onboarding.
Yep.
Oh yeah. If we weren't live on air, I would tell you guys where I'm going.
Oh, tell us after.
I'll tell you in the channel. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was planning on telling you guys way before I put it on Twitter, so you guys.
It's already on
are
Twitter?
Part of my year. No, it's not gonna be on
Okay.
Twitter for like.
Oh,
Oh.
I was gonna be so offended.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
Scorn.
I think Divya knows, right, Divya?
Yeah, you told me.
Divya, you
we,
know,
we
I
were
think
like
Divya.
chatting.
Blink
Yeah,
3
yeah.
times if you know.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah. So it's really exciting. I'm really excited about it. It's a really good fit for me, I think. So,
I'm
Awesome.
gonna need to switch away from using my better webcam and extra monitor because my laptop is freaking out and it claims it's the Windows server. So I will be
Okay.
weird.
We'll continue to stall.
Yeah, just a minute.
You should get an M1 Max because I haven't even heard this thing yet, and I run all these programs at the same time. It's amazing.
Notice the difference between the you didn't get the Pro though. You just got the Max, so I guess you can't compare.
Pro Max. Yeah, I can't tell the difference between those two, but my last laptop, which is sitting over here, was a 2017 Intel MacBook Pro, and it's like night and day. It's like 75 times better.
wow.
So that's
When did you buy yours, Jerod? Like when they just came out with the new M1s.
Right when they announced the new ones. yeah.
Nice. I know you've been dying for one, so
I
congrats. I'm happy
have.
to hear you're
Usually
happier.
usually my laptop is the one that's on fire because it's streaming, it's recording, etc. But now it's just
Yeah.
like quiet. So nice.
That's awesome. Now you're just chewing ice to make up for the noise, right? Like.
Yeah, now all the noise is my fault. I no longer have a scapegoat.
Jared's like pregnant, actually, chewing ice.
That's funny. Is that a thing with all pregnant women? Because Rachel was a ice chewer, but I didn't know. I thought it was localized to her.
My mom was.
Was she?
Yeah. I don't know about anyone else though.
I think that's an iron deficiency, isn't it?
I'm sure it's something.
I think it is.
Is it really? I had no idea.
Apparently.
Wow.
I mean, she
JS
researched
Party
it.
Medical Science.
Yeah. We are not doctors.
This is-
This is not medical advice. But if you're craving ice, you may be low on iron.
Yep, apparently that's the thing. All right, well, I think I'm as good as I'm going to get.
Okay.
Hopefully y'all can see and hear me.
yeah.
Cool. Everybody ready to go? Let's play the intro song. Remember, at the end of the intro, I'm going to say 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're all going to say Happy New Year. Act like you're happy to be here. It's 2022.
I'm gonna blow the kazoo.
Blow the kazoo, please.
Okay.
Just don't blow it so loud that it hurts our ears. Three, 2, 1.
Happy New Year! Whee!
Chris on the kazoo, yeah. Little backstory here. I went looking for a kazoo, couldn't find one. Chris hopped on. I said, "Do you want a kazoo?" He says, "Of course." I don't know. I didn't think that was an of course kind of a thing, but he was almost offended that I asked him. Of course he owns kazoos. Hey everybody, it is 2022. JS Party is here to ring in the new year. I am Jerod Santo, your internet friend, and I have a bunch of friends here with me today. Darn near all of them. Not quite, but darn near. Amelia is here. What's up, Amelia?
Hey, hey.
Happy to have you. And of course, I've already talked about Chris because he's here on the kazoo. Chris, what's up, man?
Hey, happy 2022.
And back at you. We have Divya with us. What's up, Divya? I think you might have been muted or just not excited. Please try again.
I said, hey, how's it going?
There
I just
There she
realized
is.
I was
And
like,
the
oh,
sound.
I just auto-muted myself.
Oh,
Yeah.
like an amateur. Come on, Divya. You're a professional podcaster at this point. The sound of that boisterous laugh is Amel Hussein. What's up, Amel?
Hello, everyone. Happy to be in 2022. It's so awesome here. It's
It
like
is.
the air is better. World peace is a thing.
Yes.
It's amazing.
We also have K-Ball with us. He is salsa-ing into the new year. What's up, K-Ball?
Am I? I actually have not been out dancing in almost 2 years now, since, March 2020. I'm going to say, hey, 2022, you can't possibly get worse, right?
Don't challenge it. Do not challenge it. And surprise, we have a brand new panelist, a new year, new co-host. It's Allie Spittle. Allie, say hi.
Hey, how's it going? This is really exciting.
We're super excited to have you. I've wanted you on the show ever since I met you way back in the day on the Changelog, and then we had you on Front End Feud, and we had a lot of fun. And hey, the cards aligned, and you're here now, and you're here to stay. So that's awesome. Welcome.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be awesome.
Well, give everybody the TLDR on Allie Spittle for those who have not met you previously. Who are you, and what did you up to?
So I lead and manage developer advocacy for AWS Amplify. So I focus on making it so that AWS is out there for front-end web and mobile developers. And then outside of that, I do a lot of things on the internet. I have a blog, and I also used to co-host the Ladybug podcast with Emma as well, who I know has been on here a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm.
And I live in Denver, so outside of work, I like to do a lot of outdoorsy things. It's very fun.
Denver. Now we're all jealous. That's a great place.
Yeah, it's the best. It's like vacation all the time.
I do vacation there sometimes, and you live in my vacation spot, so that's kind of weird. Do you ever do vacation in Nebraska?
I have not. I have not.
If you did, then
Don't.
we would just be.
Flipping.
I'm just
Go ahead,
playing with
K-Ball.
you, Jerod. I was gonna say don't. It's not for everyone out here, and in fact, I think it's almost for no one except the zoo.
Well, K-Ball, it represents a large minority of the JS Party panelists, so it's for JS Party people. Maybe you should check it out.
No, it's true. And actually, one of my coworkers is from Nebraska as well. And she knew you all from Nebraska JS and things.
Well, that's
like
because everybody in Nebraska knows everybody. There's like 7 of us.
that. As previously stated, it's really not for many.
It's not.
For
If
what
there
it's
was ever
worth,
gonna-
yeah. Oh no, go ahead, Jerod. If there was
I was
ever
gonna
one,
say,
I'm
playing-
dying to
I'm
know
K-Ball,
that.
did you ever imagine that you would be a Nebraska troll? Like, would that be part of your life? You're just like our biggest troll.
Well, the real thing there is I'm a Nick and Jerod troll,
Ah,
and so y'all bring Nebraska to the forefront in your commentary, and so then I become a Nebraska troll, I guess.
well,
I can't troll
it's
TypeScript
a living,
anymore
I
'cause I'm
guess. It's a
using it,
living. I
but
mean, I troll Nick, but I just pick on TypeScript and I pick on Vim. I don't pick on the Nebraska stuff because I would be.
See,
biting
I
off my own
use
leg.
both of those tools now, so Nebraska's the only thing left.
Well, come check us out. It's nice this time of year. Okay, let's get into the show. So this is our annual New Year's show. If you listen to the last one, you will know that we finished it by making some resolutions. And it wouldn't be a resolution if we didn't fail at it wildly and then hold each other's hands to the fire, or is it feet to the fire? I don't know. We're getting hot next to a fire because I'm bringing them back out and asking how everybody did on last year's resolutions. K-Ball, your desire, your wish, your resolution for 2021 was to be able to do 10 handstand push-ups by the end of the year. How'd you do?
Failed miserably. I actually have no idea because I haven't tried.
Forget about it.
I haven't tried. Here, I can go and stand against
No,
that door and
try
try.
it.
Maybe I'll be able to do one.
Okay.
Try it. Okay, here we go.
I think
Here we
that's
go.
an ample punishment.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Wow.
Wait, is the camera in the right angle?
Is he actually gonna try to do?
Maybe.
I don't even know.
Oh wow. Okay.
Wait, is he really doing? Yeah. Oh wait.
That
Wow.
was no-
Okay. We have
that
attempts
is-
of 1.5.
Half.
Not even one.
Oh my god. Divya, you're
I got-
so mean.
I got down, but I couldn't get back up.
Yeah. No.
I'm not mean. I'm being realistic. That's like half. That kind.
Which
It's
Yeah.
like
Well,
At-
I
at the
forget
time
that
we-
Divya is the fitness queen. Yeah, I forget that. Yes, this
No,
makes
I'm
sense
not.
now.
So, additional context. At the time we made those resolutions, I could
You're
do
very
2.
fit.
So I have backslid.
You've actually backslid.
Oh no.
ah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Can you?
No,
do
Divya
just, like,
is
a
very
standing
fit for what it's
handstand, though?
worth.
Is that?
Yes,
Thanks.
but not a standing handstand push-up. But I mean,
Ah, yes. That one is harder.
so I do a New Year's like wrap up and look back, and like
Yeah.
this whole year was about recovery because like we made those resolutions, and then like within a week or two, my mom died, and other shit happened, and like first half of this year just sucked. So I'm coming out again, looking forward, and I'm optimistic. Next year it can't be worse. It's got to be better.
It can't be worse. Well, definitely no big deal. In the scheme of things, whether or not you can do 10 handstand push-ups is not going to change you one way or the other. Mel, you had a bunch of goals. I feel
No,
like
of course.
this is kind of an Mel thing. It's to fly in hot, have a bunch of stuff, big ambitions. Let me
That's
list
my
off a
MO.
few of these, and you can tell me how you did. So you and your husband were going to build an automated watering system for your plants using Raspberry Pis.
Mm-hmm.
Did you do that?
We're like halfway done. So we
Okay.
basically wanted to set up our garden, like we wanted to set up like an indoor and outdoor garden, but then the lumber crisis hit. So this is kind of another like monkey wrench, with like setting up an irrigation system. And so I'd say like I'm hoping we'll get to it this year. I'm happy that I think some of the goals that I remember from last year, I think I did complete, which was like nature time, because we now live in the country and we're like really enjoying that pretty regularly.
Yes,
Yeah.
and the other thing you said is I need more friends that are not technologists. How'd you do on that front?
I think pretty good. Yeah, I have like a bunch of new friends that are not technologists. Like I have a friend that's like a lawyer and another friend that's like an accountant. Are you
Nice.
seeing a trend maybe?
You're just like diversifying.
Yeah, I have like a really good friend that I've made that's a massage therapist. Yeah, I've
Okay.
been really working on that. Actually, a lot of my local friends are obviously not in tech and not obviously, but they are not in tech. And so I think I've actually made progress there for sure. Yeah.
Now you just need to find a
Where
plumber
do you live
friend, an
again?
electrician.
I live in the Berkshires, so we're like in this little slice of heaven in Western Massachusetts, where there's still culture. Not still, there's tons of culture, and then we have tons of nature. So it's like a very unique place. You get the best of both worlds. So if you like art, music, theater, and then nature, you know. So it's like a big juxtaposition.
Very cool. So you also wanted to build a little LED screen for yourself because you're always 1 minute late to meetings. How about that? Did that come to fruition?
I started that project, but I started that project like 3 weeks ago because I
Okay.
quit my job and like at the end of October. And I started that project 3 weeks ago and I'm hooking it up to GCal and I'm really excited. So stay tuned
Cool.
on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But it took, but
definitely.
I started that project a year later than I planned. So for what it's worth.
Well, you're working on it, so that counts. So
I
you're gonna
am.
blog it? Are you gonna video it? How are you gonna put it out there so we can see what you're up to?
Definitely, yeah. I'm right now just playing around with like how I want the LEDs to show up, like like if I want them, if I come up with my own like symboling system, or if I want to like try to do words. I'm using Johnny Five, so I'll
Nice.
definitely like probably make a little YouTube video about it. It's too much for a blog, I think. So
Very cool. Well, Allie, you weren't on the show last year, but you did have a resolution to leave Chicago, and you just told us you live in Denver. So it sounds like you're a winner winner. Still muted.
Winner muted.
Yeah, you're muted.
So sorry, I was muted.
That's all right. Start fresh.
I feel like that's the slogan of the year, so it's very New Year's episode. Well, yeah, last year at this time we were like deciding where to move, and it was not going to be Chicago. So we had like a list of cities that we were thinking about moving to, and so it's all kind of wrapped up this year. So I think that was the biggest resolution that I had last year was to get out of Chicago.
So we already sang Denver's praises, but why did you pick there, and what were your other choices?
Okay, so funny enough, me and my partner Andrew, we both made lists of all the cities that we would possibly want to move to, and then blind rated them. Um, and then Denver was number one for both of us. So that's really how we ended up here. It's
Okay.
a little bit random, but
Analytical.
yeah,
cool.
yeah. Yeah, we didn't have like necessarily a city that we were tied to because remote work. And so we could have moved anywhere. And Denver was a little bit more affordable than a lot of the big cities and lots more outdoorsy things to do. So it's kind of the best of all worlds.
So we've talked about Denver being good, but you're coming in with a high bar. That was number one of all possible places. Has it met
Wow.
your bar so far?
Yes, for sure. It's definitely the best place that I've lived, where we live close enough to things where it's like very walkable. We can live in a real house, but then we can also drive out of the city whenever we want to go like hiking or skiing because the ski season is starting already, which is exciting too.
Love it. Love it. Well, Chris, you had what I thought was the best of all resolutions because you wanted to, quote, claw your way out of the abyss of disillusionment and alienation. And also, you want to learn how to draw.
Well, I did one of those things, and the other one I failed at.
Reveal it to us. Which one? Can you draw? You
Does
can't
it
draw,
really
can you?
matter? No, I can't draw.
Chris, I'm gonna
No.
show you one of my vacation books. I mean, you want to see it? Well, I mean, we'll put it in the show links, but I think for people on YouTube, you can see this. Or it says you will be able to draw after finishing this book or something like that.
No.
So yeah. like,
That's not gonna happen.
That's not gonna
But
happen.
so yeah, that abyss about the yawning void. I got a new job essentially, and I'm doing different things, and I'm much better now,
Awesome.
relatively speaking. So yeah. Woo!
I think in the scheme of things, being able to draw versus being out of the trough of disillusionment, I think, that's the one I would pick. So I'm happy that
I mean,
you've solved that
still
one.
want to be able to draw, but I don't know.
buy this book. I'm telling you.
I don't want to.
It makes a big promise,
I don't want to put any effort into it, which is really the problem.
You
Right?
just want to know how to draw.
I
My-
want to wake up like the Matrix, and now I know how to draw, and
Right.
so I'm just gonna wait for that to happen.
My kids have been doing this thing on YouTube. It's the Art for Kids Hub, and they tell you exactly what to do, and you will draw something, and it looks good. But he's very clever because he's giving you this vocabulary of things that you can then draw. And I've noticed, at least with my kids, like they just follow the instructions, but now when they're free drawing, it looks a lot better because they're using these little techniques. So it's almost like they picked it up without doing anything because they're just following instructions.
That sounds cool.
Well-
They send one to Chris for Christmas. Oh wait, it's already
Yeah.
January. Next year's his birthday.
Art for Kids Hub on YouTube. Go for it.
My birthday's in July, Jared.
Well, you can wait. You didn't draw all last year. I mean, are you in a big rush?
Is there a right answer to this?
Your right answer is no. No, I'm not in a good rush, and you're exactly correct.
Oh my god.
All right. Well, Amelia, you wanted to explore DC last year. Did you get that done? My video's disabled. Is she here? I can't see her.
I'm also running into that.
She's
Now you're
frozen.
muted, Amelia. You may have been muted already.
Oh, yeah.
Are we breaking Riverside? Too many awesome people in one. In one.
It might be.
They're like, we haven't tested this bandwidth yet.
We haven't done it with 7 people before. You're supposed to only have 4. Amelia,
All right.
mine shows you as muted. I also don't have video, so I can't read your face or anything.
Oh no, she's gone.
Oh, she dropped
Mine
off.
shows
All
you
right.
it's gone. Yeah.
We will just break right there with me being
Yeah.
a smart aleck to Chris, and we'll just call this the break until Amelia comes back.
Okay.
So hey, you're on a break.
Cool.
Nice.
Whew, what's going on with the Riverside today, guys?
I mean, the whole internet has been up and down this last week, right?
Yeah.
You think Riverside uses
maybe
Java?
are they using Log4j? Yeah.
Log4j, yeah.
Their turns or their like WebRTC turn servers in Java.
Oh no.
So if we
kidding.
type a carefully crafted message into the chat bar, does it change? The...
OMG, K-Volume.
It looks like
Oh, so
Amelia joined
Divya, by the
live.
way, you're also delayed, by the way, for me, for what it's worth. Divya is delayed.
Yeah.
Audio or
I'm-
video or both?
I'm
Audio.
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're all having issues here. Amelia
Except
joined
for
and left
Chris.
again. Chris is killing it.
Chris is the man of the hour.
He's operating all
even-
cylinders.
He's
What did
also
I
got
do?
a whatever bazooka or whatever. Not a bazooka. What's
Kazoo,
it
not a
called?
bazooka.
A
Kazoo.
bazooka.
If Chris had a bazooka, we'd have problems.
Kazoo.
Not the same.
I can
Not
see
the
it's
same.
easier. Kazoo. Yeah, kazoo. Anyways, I don't know. All right, I'm gonna.
I
Amelia's
kind of want
back.
to see what a kazooka is. Is that like a really big kazoo that you blow it and it launches a missile or something?
Oh
my
Very
did
strong
I
rocket
miss?
launcher. Amelia's back. We changed subjects. We're on a break, by the way, Amelia. So we just broke right there because
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I don't know what I missed, but it
Bazookas.
it got a little
Kazookas,
crazy.
yeah.
bazookas.
Yeah, we K-Ball invented a new thing. inspired by
Chris and Amel.
yeah,
Inspired by you, Amel.
a
You're
missed
my
a missed
inspiration.
word. Yes, as long as I get a cut of the patent, that's all I need. Yeah,
All right, should we hop into the next section here before things break again?
sure. What's the next section?
We're going to talk about tech trends in
Oh.
2022.
Oh my
like,
god.
You know, what's going
Do
on
we have enough
today.
time?
Well,
Just kidding. No, I'm just.
I guess you want to go first.
No, I don't. Please.
All right.
I think because of Wi-Fi, Divya should go first. I'm picking on Divya. Just.
And then Amelia, just in case she died.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, because that way at least Divya can talk, and then while we're responding, she'll get the delayed messages, but that's okay.
Yeah.
no. Yeah. Or maybe we can. I mean, we can talk about like Vercel and how they're hiring everyone now.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say,
That's a
the
trend.
trend
Yeah,
is
yeah.
Vercel is hiring everyone.
All right, I'll pitch
Right.
to Divya first for reals.
Oh, wait. Are we saying that upcoming trends, like what we expect for 2022, not look back, right?
No, not look back. Like
Yeah,
what's happening right now.
What's going to
and what
happen?
do you
Oh,
think's
yeah,
gonna
yeah,
happen.
sure. Yeah. I think
Exactly.
Vercel and Elon
But I
Musk are
mean,
going to
it's
collaborate on a
informed.
project called Rocket.js. Okay. I'll keep it for the show.
What'd you call
Okay,
it?
go. Rocket
Rock?
JS.
Mm, all right. Rock, like Mars? Like a Mars joke? I don't get it. What's rock?
No, Rocket.
Oh,
Like a
Rocket.
rocket man. Rocket
Gotcha.
JS.
I think
You
it
get
said
it?
rock.js.
No,
I was
no.
like, what's
No, although that would work too because the Vercel logo is a pyramid. But anyways, it's fine. We can start the show whenever you're ready, Jerod.
All right. We might have to put the brakes back in on this show. This one's getting wild. Okay, I'm going to start now. So I'm going to start again. I started talking and realizing I didn't know what I was going to say. I'm going to think. This is not hard. I've done hard times. Just pep
It's
talk.
almost
about
like
the
getting
future.
all of us in a room together is like problematic for our ability to stay on any topic.
Yeah. We should do a live conference here soon.
I
Just
would
all of us
agree.
in a room.
That would be so fun, actually.
Yeah.
But
All right. Introduce the topic. Pitch to Divya. I got my plan now.
you got it.
So let's talk.
Divya, are you
trends
paying
in
attention?
20
Right?
Dang it, Mel, I was going.
Just making sure. Just she was texting. She looks like she's texting. I'm just making sure, Jerod. I want to set you up for success here.
Okay,
So
thank
yeah,
you.
go ahead.
So let's talk trends in 2022. What's going on? What we think will be going on as the year progresses. Divya, what are you thinking?
I think it's interesting to see the JavaScript space sort of heating up, specifically around like people vying for this Jamstack or King of Jamstack role. Specifically seeing like Netlify raise Series D, Vercel raise Series D around the same time, and then Vercel is also hiring like a lot of people, and it sort of feels like the trend is moving away from just focusing on React and Next.js, because with Rich Harrison joining, and he owns Svelte, and Seb Mark say his name. I don't know how you say his name. He joined as well, and so there's a lot of heavy hitters that they're hiring, and so it's interesting to see that, and I'm curious to see the progression and what that means for and what they're cooking up at Vercel.
Do we think the hires are just going to continue apace? Do you think they've gotten who they're looking for? Is it all open source people, or what's going on? You named
I think
two.
a lot
Is
of it
anybody
tends to be open
else,
source
or-
projects. Yeah, it just seems like they're hiring a lot of people who own significant open source projects, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
because it's just a matter of like the trend tends to be hire open source people, and it's like an acqui-hire thing. So you take on people who own these giant projects, and by doing so, take on the community. Bring. And so yeah, I think they're making a huge play, definitely.
I think the other cool thing is we talked to Rich about this, and it seems like they hired Rich, not the creator of Svelte. So he's kind of welcome to work on whatever he wants to work on, which it's really just they're hiring the people, not even the communities or the technology.
Yeah, they also have gotten some really good talent from Microsoft and other companies, to lead like the engineering effort internally or the DevRel effort. Like, so they have hired some, I think, pretty big people within the community. Maybe not people who are known on Twitter by everyone, but like definitely some, I think, key people that are, instrumental like within organizations. So yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how they take over. My guess is that I think Vercel and Guillermo essentially, and I think Elon Musk are going to have a collaboration. They're going to like collaborate on something, and it's going to be called like Rocket.js, and we're going to find out that like Vercel is going to power like dashboards that are like going to run inside of a rocket, and like, they're basically going to run the tech that's going to serve. UIs for for SpaceX engineers. So that's my prediction, and I'm sticking with it, everyone.
Do they have a POP on Mars yet? Do they have a CDN there?
No, but I mean, think about that constraint though, right? I mean, like how many, we had like less than 1 gig of RAM that took us to the moon. And so, think about all those constraints around writing for native applications, right? So I expect JavaScript and web development to be a lot faster after having that constraint of like, you have less than 1 gig of RAM, like, make it work, So
I think we have seen some JavaScript-based dashboards on SpaceX. Maybe not on the rockets, maybe like in the control booth or wherever. But I know JavaScript people have been singing praises for their powering dashboards inside of SpaceX at some point. But yeah, okay. So Vercel, I'm writing this down for next year's New Year's party. They did Vercel and SpaceX have a collab in 2022. That's Mel's big call. What's interesting about a company like Vercel and Netflix, et cetera, hiring open source developers is it's kind of like a shot in the arm. No pun intended. That's not a pun. No contemporary topic intended. It's a shot in the arm to the amount of time and thought and effort that can go into the project. But then you're also wondering, like, there's a cynical me, or maybe more than just me, that's kind of like with Facebook and React. Is like, does Facebook's needs drive React's direction? Does now Vercel's corporate needs potentially sully the waters of a Svelte.js or of these other projects that these people they hire work on? What do you guys think about that? Chris, you have a arm in open source. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a concern. I think it's especially a concern with a company that's just, taking on more and more VC funding as well.
Yeah.
You start to worry about things like a rights ratchet where you had this open source project that was permissively licensed. Oops, now we're going to change the license, and now we're going to open core, and we're going to strip out features, and just the same thing that's happened time and time and time again. And I think what's really frustrating to me is people don't they'll still reach for these projects. It's like they think it's not going to happen. They don't appreciate the risk of adopting an open source project like that. And yep, that's how things go. There's a lot of talk right now, obviously, about not being appreciative of the risk of adopting open source by companies. So
I saw a thing recently that said open source is free like a puppy, and I thought it was the most evocative metaphor. Yeah, it's free to bring it in the door, but you are signing yourself up for a lifetime of maintenance, and occasionally it's going to shit on your rug.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people learn that the hard way.
Well, yeah, notice how the one person who worked at NPM is staying quiet. Let my silence be noted by the audience. And let that be interpreted.
If it wasn't noted, she'll call it out.
Let that be interpreted however folks want to interpret my silence. Yeah, but let's just say I strongly agree with Chris. It is a little scary for me to see VC enter community and open source, because if those boundaries are not clear, it gets really ugly really fast. And we have a very recent story, that we can all refer to about that. So, I just hope folks know what they're doing. I do think what's different about Vercel with NPM is they have a very clear, like the NPM founders were very kind of focused, I think, around the community experience more so than the product experience, if that makes sense, right? So the CLI API, the actual capabilities of the registry versus like, how do we make this a product? Like that was something that was an afterthought and something that was being pushed on by the board or whoever, like you guys need to come up with a way to make money, y'all. We can't just keep throwing cash at you, So what's different is where I think Vercel does have a clear strategy for how to make money. I think my personal question mark on this is like, second tier cloud. Like I think what's to stop AWS or Google from spending like 1 or 2 quarters to like actually close the gap on whatever Vercel is offering as a value prop, right? So I'm just saying like there's risk there too. And best case scenario is they're acquired and we don't know the community, the JavaScript community doesn't suffer as a result, and worst case scenario is not great, right? So, but we're hoping the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're hoping the best.
Well, and one thing that I think is a little different in the Vercel case versus, say, an NPM case is like they're funding a wide range of open source projects and creators that all, are projects that if people are using them, they'll probably also be interested in what Vercel has to offer. Whereas NPM was like a single thing, and it was deeply integrated between the open source project they're funding and the product they're trying to sell. And so I think they're pretty different scenarios, right? If Vercel goes under or is acquired, Rich Harris can go someplace else. He's not going to have a problem, and Svelte isn't going to necessarily have a problem. And they're kind of touching a lot of different things, right? They've been funding some of the key maintainers of Next.js for a while. Now they're bringing in Seb, who's been core on React. They're talking about Rich. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in one of the core members from Nuxt or something like that. Like they're touching they're kind of doing a diversified portfolio of helping fund innovation in the space where people who are using that innovation are in their target customer audience. So I don't think they get in quite the same conflict of interest and single focus, how do I monetize hangups, though obviously if they went under, that would cause all sorts of problems, and the pressures of VC are very real.
Yeah. Well, switching gears.
Jared's like, I wanted something positive and happy, y'all. This is going to be a Twitter controversy at like cluster, so I apologize.
No. That's not
anyways.
me. I'm over here thinking I could talk about this the entire show, but we need to keep the show
we can keep it
this
moving.
Is very interesting to me, and I have more things to say about it, but I'm going to hold them back. Because I'd like to pass it over to Allie for your tech trends going on here in 2022. What you thinking?
Well, my biggest thing, both on my wish list and forecasting, is that developer tooling and developer experience will become even more important. And I think that it even links into this like Vercel conversation that we're having, that smooth developer experience that makes developers more productive is going to be a huge place for investing, because for like most startups, especially, the most expensive cost is engineering costs. And so if you can make developers more productive, that saves a lot of money. And so I am very excited both for like our experiences. Like I cannot tell you how many times I've written a React form, for example. If I didn't have to do that from scratch every single time, that would be such a boon for my productivity. And so I think the rise of those types of developer tools will be huge.
Any specifics beyond React forms? Things where you think my life as a developer, this can be for anybody to answer, not just yourself, Allie, but like my life as a developer would be greatly improved if I had X tool. I know we talked recently on the show about tooling for accessibility, which is somewhere that we all come up short, and how that's getting better, but like we could definitely be holding developers' hands with tooling for getting accessibility right and doing it well and making sure you're doing it. We can be doing that better, but that's just one that came to my head. Any other places where your current dev life is in pain and you would love someone to fix that pain for you?
Go ahead, Ellie.
Okay, I'll go first and then I'll pass it over to you. So in the Rails era of development, and I guess a lot of people still use Rails, so it's not like that era is necessarily over, but there was so much code generation. Like you could type in a command in the command line and half your app would be generated for you. And I think that there are products like Blitz.js and a couple others that are doing a really good job of bringing that to the front end modern experience. So that's what I'm most excited about personally.
Amelia?
I have a lot of thoughts here because my job is pretty much focused on the future of developer experience. But the two things I'm most excited about are, I think, making collaboration remotely easier between developers. So this isn't like more multi-cursor. This is like, how do we, like in between multi-cursor and the metaverse, like how do we make it so that remote development teams can work together seamlessly and like share what they're doing in kind of like you know, an automated way, so you're not just like sending Slack updates or having video calls. And the other thing I'm really excited about is it feels like we're moving more towards at least in my like little front end world, is like there's the code, but there's also like what does the code produce. So it feels like the focus time has been on like, how do you, like, what is the syntax? What does the code look like? Let's share diffs. But for me, at least what I've seen is it's moving more towards like, what is this code building and like what tools can we build on top of that? So this is like no code tools and like GUIs and like more in that direction where like, it feels like we've solved a lot of use cases on the web, and like, how can we make it easier for new developers or people who aren't developers to build things?
Very cool. I'll just point out that we're 41 minutes into recording and we had our first drop of the term metaverse. So we made it quite a ways.
Apologies.
But it's been the talk of the town as of late. Divya, what are you thinking over there?
Metaverse as a whole, or like
My thoughts
Or you could
around
ignore that
metaverse?
and go back to developer tools if you think.
Oh,
I
developer
left
tools.
it
I
open.
I
You
actually
can talk
really
about
agree
dev
with.
tools or the metaverse.
I
You
will
pick.
hold my
Choose your own
thoughts on the
adventure, Divya.
metaverse.
Well, share them both. We're
I
here
agree.
for it.
I agree with Amelia around developer tooling and a lot of the progress there, just regarding like how collaboration works. Because like with VS Code, collaboration like VS forward to like improvements there and just like extra things that they're probably going to add in the future. I think one other thing that I've also seen that's a trend, I think it's sort of been bubbling under the surface, is sort of like how we're building developer tooling in JavaScript. And you see this movement towards writing a lot of things in Rust. And I think I've talked about this before, but I think you're starting to see a lot more of that in developer tooling space, specifically with Dino, like that came out last year. And you see more tools starting to use like Rust compile and a lot of the Rust ecosystem tooling to build for JavaScript, which is really interesting. And I think we're probably going to see more of that moving forward as more people start to adopt and use Rust.
Yeah. Can I get grumpy about that? Am I allowed to do that? So I'm a little worried about this whole like move to Rust thing, because I'm just like, is this like more JavaScript community hype where we're going to get excited about something and not really think through all the repercussions and like the long-term strategy? I mean, I understand like our tooling is getting complex and builds take time, but like the however many seconds or whatever minutes or like that we're saving, like the complexity that we're gaining is infinite. And you're also creating a huge barrier for entry, like with people community, like contributing to like the tools that they use, like I'm an expert in JavaScript. Like, do I now have to go learn Rust in order for me to start contributing to this project or for me to submit a bug patch to this open source project? Like, I mean, we're just adding more fragmentation to our stack, and we're also like not thinking more strategically about like this mess that we've created with our like build tooling, So I think we need to like think outside the box, not make them like make the horses run faster, So it's just
Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's just I'm saying
I
I
kind of
understand Rust is
understand.
amazing, yeah, but I don't know if it belongs in JavaScript ecosystem at that level. Like I just don't, but whatever. I'm grumpy and
But
old.
we're
So
using,
Go ahead, Divya. Divya was going to
But
respond.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, sorry. I think we're using, like, the thing is, in developer tooling for JavaScript, it's not always JavaScript. Like, we have used other languages before, so we've used C++. And I'd argue that C++ is more complex and more confusing than Rust is. And that's like going way in the weeds at least, because we're a JS party, we're very like front-end focused. But if we're already reaching for a lot of languages like that, I would say Rust is a bit more user-friendly, because their compiler at least gives you very clear for when things go wrong. And I'm speaking from personal experience because I'm not a Rust developer. I have picked up Rust in the last year and a half, going from JavaScript to Rust, and I've done C++ before, and it's been painful. But from a JavaScript perspective, when you do pick up Rust, there is a clear sense of it. Obviously, the syntax you need to think about because you don't think about pointers in memory in JavaScript too much. But if considering the fact that we are already pulling from like compiler heavy languages like C++ for tools, I would say if we had to choose, Rust is actually not a bad choice. And it sometimes helps sort of give you a clearer sense of how you're fixing a certain problem. You don't have to think about certain things. Plus, and so yeah, I would say there is a gain there. Obviously, I understand where you're coming from, which is like we shouldn't be building everything and like completely throwing away JavaScript thing in Rust, because that's not the point I'm trying to make. I think the point I'm trying to make is that internals ultimately we're using Rust to augment, and then the user experience and the sort of the wrapper layer is still JavaScript, right? So there's just like, is there a way that those two
I get
components coexist? Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's a really good point. Please, yeah, I was actually going to ask you for yours if you if you didn't offer it. So,
I think yes. So I was kind of alarmed by it at first, but it's just that JavaScript and Node it's just not well suited to compilation like CPU heavy number crunching stuff.
Right.
It's just slow doing that. It's good for other things. It's good obviously for like an async network server or whatever, but for like CPU bound tasks, it's just slow as a dog. So like Rust makes sense. It makes sense to use a faster language to do those things, but I think it's going to be self-limiting. I don't think we're going to get much farther than those sorts of tools. If you've tried to write a web server in Rust, I'm sorry. Like, there's just lots of things that, Rust is good for, and there's lots of things it's not good for. I'm not too terribly worried about it. I don't see something like a package manager does not need to be written in Rust for JavaScript, for example. Like, it's not like there's not a whole lot of number crunching going on. It's just not helpful. So, yeah,
Yeah, I guess for me it's like I just think like, okay, we're using Node for our build tooling, and Node has, you can use things like Nappy, you can use like native module APIs to, hook into C++ bindings if you need to. So like, why create more fragmentation? Like, if we're going to leverage something, why not leverage the cow paths that are already there being used by large enterprises that are using Node at scale
C++
to do lots of stuff?
is a language of foot guns. It's so
Yeah.
easy to shoot yourself with C++.
You can write
You know-
nappy modules with Rust.
You
too.
could, yeah, you can write Nappy. Okay, yeah, I guess if you can write Nappy with Rust, at least that's a little bit better. I think it's in the sense that like that you're able to leverage Nappy to at least smooth out the bindings. So for people who are debugging and who want to like understand what the interface is, like there's a way to, you know what I mean, to manage that a little easier. But anyways,
I just remembered I think it's pronounced NAPI, not nappy.
I'm thinking of nappy because I was thinking that sometimes my hair can be nappy. It's not nappy. What is it? It's NAPI.
Yeah, it's NAPI.
Thank you.
But I
I've been
read it
working
and
with folks
that's
from
what
the
it says
UK
to me.
recently, and I think
It's nappy.
to them,
I
nappy
call it
means
nappy.
diaper, which
Thank
might
you.
actually be appropriate here, right? Like,
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So yeah, it's okay. I'm in that phase. I think that's very
Right.
early. I'm where Chris was maybe 6 months ago, where he was alarmed. I'm still alarmed, but
you're saying it's okay so long as you use the nappy to keep the shitty parts away from you.
pretty much, yeah. Let's
Hey,
use
Bob.
nappy.
You're making me pull out my bleep button way too often. You're
Yeah,
really
you're
getting
swearing
edgy
a
in
blue
2022.
streak over there, man.
Seriously.
Anyways,
All right, let's do one more trend because then we're going to change subjects. We got Chris with a wish list item.
Yeah,
Chrome,
wish
you want
list,
Chrome to lose market share? Tell us.
Yeah.
I do too.
So if you, I don't know, has anybody been keeping an eye on like these
crazy security
lawsuits?
things. Yeah.
No, not the
and-
security stuff. The antitrust lawsuit stuff,
Mm-hmm.
where that's all this dirt's coming out about Google and AMP and Chrome and stuff, and now they got this extension manifest coming out, and I think it's clear to a vast majority of technologists that like Chrome is not like where we want the web to go. Like Chrome they don't care about privacy, and we need privacy. And it's like Google is not being good. They have not been good. It's my hope that some other browsers are going to, maybe get new browsers come, or maybe some will claw back some of that market share. But I'll tell you, like, the weird like pay nothing now thing in Edge is not the way to do it. But yeah, I'm hoping there's we don't continue down the path of this website only works in Chrome, because
Yeah.
it's not a good browser for a human.
So what is it? Is it Firefox for the win, or what's your personal strategy, Chris? What do you use?
I
What do
don't
you suggest
I
to
don't
people?
know. I
You
don't
don't
know.
know?
I use Vivaldi. It's it's a lot of switches and toggles and things. It does a lot of stuff, and but yeah, I'm happy to change if something else comes along. That's awesome too. But I'm not making any predictions about like what browser is going to start to get really popular or anything.
Sure.
Well, I can tell you, like, my husband and I have been using Brave as our primary browser on mobile and desktop for like more than 2 years now, 3 years, I don't know how long. I used to use Firefox on my work machine. Still, like, I currently am in between jobs, so I don't have that work machine right now, but like on my new work machine, I'll probably use Firefox and Brave. And my husband decided, just with all the stuff going on with Chrome, he was just so upset about it. He's like, I'm not even going to start using Brave, and like, I don't trust any of these browsers. He's going to start building Chromium on his machine, and he's going to just use like vanilla Chromium and build it himself. Yeah. So, which I think is like probably the safest thing, to be honest. Like,
Not the most
very
scalable
scalable.
solution. Yeah.
it isn't, no, but I mean, if you
Good
have
for
one
us.
personal machine, yeah. So it really sucks, but
Yeah.
yeah.
is one. I do have another wish, but I kind of don't want to mention it. But it involves the, you know, something chain. And I don't want to mention the third version of the thing, that I would like to go away
Just like Beetlejuice, if you say it too many times,
um,
it shows up, or what?
on this show. But I really hope that that crap gets out of the headlines and out of my Twitter feed.
That's actually my trend. That's my prediction for this year. I think we're going to see our next bubble burst, specifically around NFTs. I do think there's interesting technology there, and I do think that out of the ashes are going to come cool new things. But I think it's obviously frothy. There's a lot of scamming going on. People are losing a lot of money, and it's just been bubbly for a long enough time that I think sometime this year, I think we're going to see our next crypto bubble bop. And I think a lot of people are going to end up losing a lot of money, unfortunately. But you'll get it out of the headlines. There'll be a bunch of headlines, and then there'll be none for like a few years until it bubbles up again. That's my prediction.
I won't. I will not put. I will put money on that by not putting money in that.
This is not financial advice. Do whatever you would like.
Yes.
But
Thanks for the qualifier.
it's about
I'm
due
sure there's a
time.
market somewhere where you can short it, and then when you lose your key, your short will go away.
There you go.
Oh,
Let's just all
gosh.
collectively lose all of our keys, and then everything goes away. Good. We're good. Just start fresh. All right. Any last trends before we call it a segment and switch gears?
I think people are going to start to use temporal. So that's my last trend, and that's it. We'll leave it at that. Like date, no more JavaScript,
JavaScript
library, date library that's like a bajillion kilobytes. It's gonna be in the browsers, kids.
Is it in Safari?
I'm hoping it will be. Jesus, I might have to make that patch myself in JS. See if it's not. It's gonna be a problem.
I don't know how
Yeah,
it works
no.
necessarily.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it is open source for what it's worth. But yes,
I
you
know,
have
but
to like be a
well,
core
mobile
committer
Safari,
in WebKit.
Safari is not open source, right? Like, so the core is, but they decide what goes into the browser, right?
Oh, correct.
I mean,
Yes,
Apple
yes.
has final
Well,
say. They could patch it out before they compile or something. if they
right,
wanted to.
right.
But yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Temporal is coming to a browser near you, maybe even Safari. We'll be right back. All right, we are definitely running a little long, so we'll hop right back in.
Yeah.
Now we're talking resolutions / where we intend to invest our own personal dev or lifetime this year. And we'll kind of go around table. If you don't have anything to say, let me know now. I won't call on you. But if you have anything to say, I'll just call on everybody. We'll just go around the horn, and then we'll be done.
Call on me. I didn't have anything witty prepared.
Okay. I'll call
Chris,
on
all
you.
you have to do is talk.
I'll call on him last.
You can't think on your feet.
Hey, Chris,
Yeah.
I'll call on you, and you just blow the kazoo, and that's it. Okay? At the very
okay.
end. All right, and then we'll say, that'll be the end of the show. Okay. Let's talk personal goals, resolutions, call them whatever you like. Let's talk about where we are investing our time this year. What do we want to learn? What do we want to try? What do we want to do? K-Ball, you're up first.
All right, so I sort of alluded to last year at being a shot year. It was about recovery for me, challenges. The year before that was also a mess for everyone. So this year, my goal is like to get back to like growing again, get back to positive, get back to moving forward. And a couple particular places I'm working on that or thinking about that. I want to get back to writing much more regularly than I've been doing. So writing, focusing on that. And the other is investing in learning, reading some new books in different areas. I'm taking a workshop. I ran here from a workshop this morning. I'm super excited learning about how to better develop other developers. Ooh, that's fun. But really just like investing in myself and actually looking forward again, rather than just how do I survive today? How do I recover from the hell that's been the last couple of years?
Sounds good to me. Let's kick it over to Divya next. What are you thinking, Divya?
And I feel like I echo a lot of what K-Ball said because I've had a rubbish year as well. And I think my goal is also just to feel like excited about tech. Because I've just not, this entire year has just been so shit that I've just not cared at all. I know that's, sorry, one other thing for you to believe, but
You guys are just making work for me every time you say that word.
Jerod, it's just a button. It's
looking-
just a button. Deep, press the button.
I'm excited to
Anyways.
I feel like you guys are collectively trolling
about
me
tech
now.
again. But,
Should we just
yeah,
have
so
somebody?
I
give them
wanna,
a
like-
talk as things to bleep?
Divya can't finish because she's so behind.
I'm sorry.
She's so behind that she can't even talk it.
Yeah, okay. So
All right, let's all
we're all
stop
gonna have to
talking.
shush. Divya, you should start over for the recording, for the actual published public.
And don't say
podcast.
shit this time.
Yeah. Yes, don't say shit this time. You don't have to start over totally. Okay, all right. We're all quiet.
okay. So I'm looking forward to be excited about tech again. Because I haven't been this year at all. I've been focusing a lot on like my personal life and just getting myself together and sort of similar to K-Ball, just surviving and thriving. And so I want to thrive and just, I started a new job. I'm excited about that. I'm excited to learn again and grow and develop and do something that's completely outside of my comfort zone, because I think I've been, when you're sort of dealing with stuff, you tend to just kind of stick to what is the status quo. So I think that's what I did for the last year. So moving forward, I'm excited to just like challenge, learn again. I'm hoping to write more about my process and like as I'm learning, try to document everything. Because yeah, I think this is like, yeah, year of growth. That's my goal.
There you go. Year of growth. Allie, how about you?
Big things. The first life thing would be I want to hike a 14er and I want to spend a lot of time outside. And then on the more career front, like last year for me was building out a team and building out team processes and things like that. I think next year will be a lot of it. I'm really excited to actually follow through with these workflows that I've built out and these mechanisms and see how they run in a more like scaled up. That's this year.
Awesome. Amelia.
Oh, so there's going to be a bit of a common theme here. I'll start with my resolution this year, which wasn't formal. Just looking back, my husband and I moved to DC in March 2020, and if you've checked the news since then, we didn't get to explore DC very much. So at the beginning of 2021, we were really excited to explore DC and get to know the city. That didn't happen very much. So come this year, we are moving to the Bay Area in a few weeks, and I'm going to have the same fake resolution of getting to know the Bay Area, and hopefully it actually happens this time. And then I'll have an official low bar resolution of being able to do one sit-up at the end of the year.
There'll be one more than K-Ball can do.
Just a
kidding,
normal
Caleb.
sit-up.
Just a
Sit-up?
normal sit-up.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can do sit-ups.
Don't challenge him. He'll do it right here on the show.
You know it.
Okay, Amel. I'm sure you have a long list. Let's hear it.
Oh my God, y'all ready? Everyone comfortable? Anybody need a bathroom break? Sip of water,
You
stretch.
get your own segment.
Yeah, exactly. Amel's goals. Her running lists are to run for president. No, I'm not running for president. I don't know. So I think I'm having a coming out party this year. I think, yeah, just last year there was a couple projects that I wanted to launch and just kind of put that on a back burner due to like things that were going on life-wise with myself and other folks that I was collaborating with. Everything just kind of like took a very interesting turn last year. So I think for me, I've never really done full-time like developer advocacy or anything like that, but I still really care about like the work that I do with the community. So I think, just being this kind of like hyper tech lead that's very inward focused at work. A lot of the things I do externally to the community are not that intentional. Like I just get like invited to do something and I'll just say yes, or, I land on a podcast and I'll say yes. But like, so this year I think is being a little more intentional about the community work that I do. And I'm in order to support that, I'm launching a blog. So you'll hear lots of rants from me, and the blog is called Unrelated Thread. And right now I'm deciding between like unrelatedthread.blog, unrelatedthread.com.dev. I don't know. So there's so many options. I think I own all of them. So I don't know. But if you have thoughts, let me know.
Wait, you're a developer launching a blog. What did you build it with?
Yeah, what's your new blog engine you're gonna launch?
Yeah, it's Netlify CMS. So Netlify CMS and just like my own front end. So very simple, nothing like crazy. And I'm sure it'll hopefully get more and more refined. Like I'm trying to not have like good get in the way of great, or like great get in the way of good, I guess. Does that make sense? But there's some really interesting things that I'm doing with this blog. Like I think it's cool. Like it's called Unrelated Thread for a reason, and you'll see it when it launches. So there's that. And then the other thing is, again, just being more intentional about my community work and being more kind of like making more space for this. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I've decided I'm writing a book, and it's not the type of book that you think. And in order to keep me accountable for writing this book, I'm hosting a series of monthly salons for the year of 2022. And the salons are not actually for y'all, because the book that I'm writing is not for y'all, in the sense that it's actually a book. You can read it by all means, but it's a book for technology. It's a book about technology for non-technologists. So I'm working to help bridge that gap, and there's some really interesting things that I'm hoping to do. So writing and being more intentional about my community work, and yeah, just continuing on the themes that I think I've built in my personal life over like being healthy and trying to like be more inward and, make more time for myself and like take care of my physical and mental health, So I feel like I've gotten good at that, but I think getting better boundaries and managing that alongside work, which, I'm like absolutely a workaholic, but it's like, it's not draining always because I love my job, but I think it's important for me to like have better boundaries. So I'm excited to try that as well. But yeah.
So this book is for all your new friends, your lawyer friend, your accountant friend, your masseuse.
It's a big deal. We're probably going to have to do a whole interview about it on Changelog. So
okay.
Yeah, it's a big deal. It's actually going to be hopefully like a big book. Like cool. I want it to be like a big book, and like real publisher, forward by a famous person that you might know type book, so
Elon Musk.
Not Musk, no. I'm hoping to get Sal Khan if I can get him, but I don't know. Yeah, Sal Khan. I think Sal Khan is my first choice if I can get him. I have a few connections with him, so if I can convince him. But yeah, no, it's really just trying to bridge the gap. And we have too big of a gap, and technology is just becoming too critical of a thing in everyone's lives for people to just hand wave around it. And it's a sign of our success that so many people are able to use technology without understanding it, right? We need to it's still, people need to understand it. So this is just kind of like a hurrah to try to just at least marginally improve that like shorten the gap, so to say. So
very cool. Well, you do not disappoint in your ambitious goals for the year. I hope you accomplish all of them.
I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully. I mean, I set up some stuff to keep me accountable. So that's,
there you go.
External
pressure. What's a monthly salon?
Way. Oh, so I'm part of a forum called Intellect. So it's just a bunch of like nerds that like talking about like intellectually type topics. And so I'm hosting a bunch of salon, like a monthly salon, like it's like a 3-hour session where we just talk about stuff, and I'll be hosting that as I write the book. So as each chapter comes along.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought a salon is just where you go to get your hair done.
No, it's like
apparently not intellectual
it's
enough.
like a discussion. Like no, it's like a
uses of the word.
Right. It's actually really cool because they're actually all, it's like a concentrated like forum of really smart people, I think, who are very passionate about their respective fields. So you get this wide array of people that are doing interesting things. Like I like made new friends with like someone that's like doing a bunch of tech policy work for Tony Blair Institute, you know, in London, for example, right? It's like that type of person, you know. But and a lot of engineers as well. So myself included.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, after that, I refuse to share any resolutions that I might have because it's like, you know, I want to do 3 sit-ups or something ambitious like that. And I'll kick it right over to Chris, who is the most ambitious amongst us. Chris, do you have any resolutions for 2022?
Yeah. I'd like to.
Masterfully delivered. That will
Amazing.
end the show because it doesn't get any better than that. Happy New Year to everyone. We hope to have an awesome year of JS Party podcasts for you all to enjoy. I've been Jerod. This has been JS Party, and we will talk to you guys next week. I like how you I wasn't sure if you're actually going to do it. And then you just ripped it out. That was awesome. All right. Good show, everybody. I will hit